Bonjour, bienvenue. Welcome back to Grade 7 French. This is the third and final grammar / parts of speech lesson for Unité 3. Today's video is all about les adjectifs possessifs. And this is a concept which hopefully you've studied in previous years in French. We touched on this a little bit during our first unit of the year. And so now we're going to spend a little more time focusing on using les adjectifs possessifs, or in English, possessive adjectives in everyday French. So let's begin. In today's lesson, we are going to review and use les adjectifs possessifs, possessive adjectives. Now, the chart on the next slide should look familiar to you, as we completed a similar chart in Unité 1. And here it is. Now, a couple of things. Before we move on to the next couple of slides, when I finish talking, I do want you to put the video on pause so that you can either A, take a picture of this screen with a mobile device, or take a screenshot on your computer, something that you can have for handy reference when we do the practice activities on the next couple of slides. Option B is to get out a pencil or pen and piece of paper and copy out this chart by hand. But either way, I would like you to have a copy of this chart handy so that you can get through the next couple of slides with a little more ease. As well, I think it would be beneficial if you had a French-English dictionary by your side. If you have your livre at home, that's great because there's a nice little French-English dictionary at the back. But failing that, if you have a regular French-English dictionary on the bookshelf, make sure that you have it, because you'll see on the next couple of slides it will come in handy. But until you move on to the next slide, please put the video on pause so that you can get a copy of this chart. All right, allons-y. Let's continue. So now we're going to practice using les adjectifs possessifs in sentences. For the following sentences, we need to insert the correct possessive adjective. So looking at this first example, est-ce que tu vas faire blank devoir de français? Have you finished your French homework? So we're missing the word your, or rather the French word for your. Now, how did I know that we need the word meaning your, as in singular your? Well, what I did was I looked at the sentence and I read the word two. So I said, okay, so we're talking about one person, you. So going back to my chart, see that when it's two and the subject, or rather the object that we're talking about, is masculine and singular, we use ton. Okay, I'll do the first question with you, and then I'll leave the remaining four for you to try out at home. So we have nous pouvons voir les microbes sur peau. In English, that means we can see germs on our skin. So again, using the subject nous as our clue, we know it's going to be notre or no. In this case, peau, skin, is actually singular here. So we're going to use notre. Okay, so I want you to put the video on pause so that you can try these remaining 4 questions. Again, you'll want to have your Adjectifs Possessifs chart nearby, as well as a French English dictionary to help you with certain words that you don't know or you don't remember. So put the video on pause now. All right, let's go on to the last slide. This one's kind of interesting. This is a fill in the blank activity. So what you need to do for each of these is you need to choose the correct noun and possessive adjective. And I've got a word box or a list of words below. I'll do the first one with you. So we've got 2 blanks, and then we've got sans couvert de microbe. Now, part of this is trial and error. But let's start off by translating the last part here. The last part here means are covered in microorganisms or are covered in germs. Okay, and so I think out of the words I've got here, bouton, buttons, corps, bodies, dessin, designs, or examen, exams, intestines. Probably core makes the most sense because that means bodies. So you've got blank, bodies are covered in microbes or microorganisms, sorry. And I think that I'll actually go with no. So that what I get is our bodies are covered in germs. That makes sense. Okay, so what you guys are going to do is put the video on pause so you can try the next 4 questions. Again, you're going to want to have your Adjectif Possessif chart close by, as well as a French-English dictionary. And again, you may find as you're doing this activity that you may need to switch certain words back and forth that make sense. Do your best with this. And then we'll have some fun taking this up in tomorrow's class. But right now, please put the video on pause. All right then. So in closing, we're going to go over this video in its entirety in tomorrow's class, and we will certainly take up the activities from the last couple of slides. And then after that, after taking any questions that you have for me, I'll give you some time to work on a couple of pages out of your cahier. But until we meet again tomorrow, this concludes today's video.